Libra, hey, what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at your current energy via the tarot astrology, any channeled messages that come through, and kind of integrate it with some Ayurvedic lifestyle habits, things that can be really helpful, supportive, enlivening for our mind, body, soul. So let's get into it. I hope that things are moving well for you. As a side note, I do use some of the current astrology. These messages are always timeless. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. Don't try to, excuse me, force anything. If it's not fitting, then don't take it on. It's less stressful. All right, Libra. So we are in Gemini season currently. The energy is getting a little bit lighter, a little quicker, better. I feel, and it can just be seasonal change as well. Things always feel a little bit more hopeful around this time of year. We get out of the winter months, through the winter months, and things start to get warmer again. A little extra pep in our step type vibe. And I feel like Gemini energy really mirrors that. It's a lot of energy. Sorry, I know not to be redundant, but I feel like Geminis are always like really active and on the go, and so it's bringing in, and it rules movement, communication, day-to-day living, day-to-day activities. It rules the third house. So it also is equated with Mercury. Sorry, I'm going to tell you all the things now. No, but it just has this component of, we've been given the opportunity to learn things about ourselves, learn things about our environment, what's working, what's not. And now we're able to take it into real time, right? Taurus season helped us build the foundation. And now that we're in Gemini season, we actually have some fortunate astrological events as well, transits. One of them is Venus and Jupiter in conjunction. That's going to be June 9th. And we also have a full moon in Sagittarius. I love Sagittarian energy because it really does help us grow, expand beyond the limitations. And we definitely need some of that. We need a change up of energy. We need some new vibes. So we can get more acclimated or aligned with things that actually help us feel good, feel passionate about the life that we're living. So I like to start off the readings with an energy cleansing just to set the tone, set the vibe for the reading, cleanse out those places that feel blocked, limited. You can totally skip ahead as well. I put the chapters down below. So if it's not your vibe, no worries. You'll still receive the blessing too. It's a, twofer. It's also a really good time to set intention as well though, especially if you've come in with something on your heart, on your mind, something you would like spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It really is a great way to personalize these collective readings. I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing and wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you're interested in more of that realignment of self, your mind, your body, your soul, I do pranic energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we are strong, grounded, aligned in self, that's when we tap into our happiness, our fulfillment, our abundance. And I would love to help support that for you in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so we may see and understand the messages clearly and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels, Mama Love. All right, Libra, I feel like there's a lot of good things happening for you. Like your energy does feel light and optimistic, but at the same time, there is I don't know if these are just annoyances that you come across in the day-to-day or stress, burden, like a little bit of overwhelm. Sorry, my nose is like not overwhelmed in the way that you can't manage. Like you feel actually like good, right? Like hopeful and excited and okay, nourish the shadow. So this makes a lot of sense with the energy that I'm picking up. That value of the things that are still weighing you down or feeling overwhelming, there needs to be a second look is what I'm hearing. Meaning like you're not just riding the wave until it's done and over with and then like, okay, phew, like I don't have to deal with that anymore. Maybe actually doing a little bit of a deep dive as to why it's triggering you or why you're getting frustrated or overwhelmed or whatever that might be. And I'm hearing this specifically in a way to not like judge and criticize and harp on yourself, but more so to alleviate the burden and stress. When we have an understanding of what it is, of where it comes from, it makes it way easier to then actually do something about it, i.e., get out of your head. So you might be spending a lot of time in the mental, which makes sense. You are an air sign, so that's a very natural space for you to be in. Perhaps you don't have to overanalyze everything. This feels like you're anticipating what is to come. I don't know that you can quite make it out yet. Surrender to receive. And maybe that's why. Maybe that's where your problem is, Libra. Because you're so calculated right now. Like everything has a rhyme and a reason and a place and a purpose. And it feels not rigid. It feels like a well-oiled machine. That's how I'm hearing it. And that's really good, right? But then you're just like, okay, so when is this coming in? Like, what's next? Okay, like you're so waiting for what it is. And I feel like Spirit's just telling you to relax a little bit. The energy this week definitely softens in the astrology. Last week it was a little bit rough. And honestly, as I'm saying this, I feel like a lot of the challenges that we were facing last week was more in the mental, emotional versus what's happening in real time. Yes, you could be dealing with certain situations that are aggravating and frustrating. This inner conflict resolution has been coming up a lot. So again, just emphasizing that value. It might not be so much what is around you, but it might also just be this thing of getting really clear of how you feel about you, right? How you feel about you, how you feel about the situations and the people that you're involved in, that you're involved with, what it's actually stirring up for you, or how much power you're giving it. Yes, it's great to understand what's going on, that awareness and clarity, but not making that the main focus, right? I think when we struggle, and this is very common in Ayurveda for like the air energy, the Vata dosha, which we have. Yes, it's like the three humors of the body, if you're familiar with medicine. But it's this value of it can get easily thrown out of balance because it is dealing more with the air element, which you are connected to, being an air sign, obviously. And with it being so central to our intelligence, our wisdom, our mental, our emotional, okay, it's time to like get out a little bit, right? To be of service to others. I'm feeling like you've refined a lot of who you are, how you're showing up. I think you have a better gauge on what that is. And I think a lot of the things that end up infiltrating you this week or lately leading up to this is more places that you're allowing people, situations to maybe have too much time in your head, in your mind. Time in your mind. It can also be a little bit of projection as well. I obviously am a huge believer in that energy is a thing. And so I think that we can pick up when people are sad, disappointed, especially people we connect with on a daily basis or have deeper, more intimate relationships with. I think, again, you're being very protective of your well-oiled machine with this Nine of Wands. Also, an energy that's been coming up a lot in the collective lately. And I think that's because it's like protecting what you've built. That's really what I'm hearing. And I know I just said that, basically. but you're also having a hard time seeing the reality of things. Again, so the sun is in your blocked energy this week with the inner conflict resolution. I think certain things keep happening because you have to better understand them for what they are. And there's a disconnect. And I think it's like a false belief about self, or even, the Knight of Wands isn't a victim. He is a victim, but, making sure that maybe you're not going too much into victim mentality or the world is against me or whatever. It can definitely feel like that at times, but that might not also be the best narrative at all times. I think certain things serve a purpose. When we feel like people are against us, it can be a really painful energy to be a part of, but it can also be our fuel that's like, well, I'm going to show them, F you, I'm going to do this, whatever that looks like. And so we've also been getting this message of perspective. It's how you're looking, the lens that you're looking through things. And our mental, the thoughts we think, are a huge contributor to that, right? So if we're getting so stuck in a narrative, in a thought pattern, in a belief that it might just be time to let it go, not to necessarily say that like you're bad and wrong. I think there are still parts of you that perhaps need to be validated. But I also think that starts with self first. You need to do that for yourself first, even before like you can receive, right? Like if we don't believe something inside of ourselves, then even if someone's like complimenting or validating us up the wazoo, it's going to fall on deaf ears. And again, not that I see any of that is intentional. I think it's like whatever you're dealing with, you're kind of over and done with, because the way it's coming up, it's like you've either turned your back on something or you're just not engaging, but you're still feeling the ramifications from it. And again, that can even just be in some of this projection that's happening over here. But like I said, it also feels like it's something that's keeping you intertwined with something that you don't want to be a part of. And that's where this component of service really will work in your favor. This is that Five of Pentacles energy. And in the traditional deck, Five of Pentacles is all about like when we're feeling rejected or down and out or whatever, the best thing we can do for ourselves is like go help someone else. It just shifts everything, right? It makes it puts problems into perspective. And then it also just like helps us feel better. It helps the other person feel better. There's so much goodness and it gets us out of our head. There's so much goodness that comes from that period, and it gets us out of our head period. Sorry. It comes out. Okay. You continue to be very protective of your energy, because here's the thing. I love this actually for you, Libra. You're getting the Destiny Path card. So it's like as soon as you're kind of flipping the script, exactly what I'm talking about, as soon as you flip it, it's like you align with something that feels really powerful, that feels really strong. And yes, there is part of you, you do just continue to protect that. And I think it's kind of appropriate. You might have, again, some offers. It does look like an offer coming back around. It's interesting. It's Five of Pentacles. And then with the Ace and Four of Pentacles, it's going back to the Five of Pentacles. So someone keeps like looping around is what I'm seeing. Maybe even kind of like trying to salvage something, trying to go back to something, trying to like make something happen. And it feels like you're just not really into it. Like you're already in, not that you're already in, but it's, again, it's protection of like what you've built to date and what you want to continue to see grow and prosper. We learn along the way who the haters are, who the people who might not be like so great to have around things that we're trying to grow and build, because they're counterintuitive or whatever. They bring things that aren't very good to the table. Obviously with this Devil card. And that's where, maybe the way this person's situation approaches it initially, it's like, hey, let's repair, let's whatever. Like it's singing a sad song. It feels like, and maybe even a believable one, maybe even one that makes you feel bad for them, maybe even one that makes sense, maybe even one that you're just like, it tugs at your heartstrings a little bit. But you're also smart, right? The other thing about the Nine of Wands is he knows what he's been through, right? It's not an easy card. In the traditional deck, it's about specifically having gone through battle, and you're almost there. You're almost at the end. And I think that a lot of times I'm hearing a lot of different things. When things are about to change or shift in a big way, people can feel that. It also brings people, situations out of the woodwork. As I'm saying this, Pluto is in retrograde. It's going to be in retrograde until mid-October. Pluto in retrograde is forcing us to look at the places that like we're resisting change, essentially, you know, whether that's what we keep engaging in or we're holding ourselves back, type 5. And it looks like the thing about this is exactly like those patterns that I was talking about in the very beginning, or, you know, midway through. They keep happening. They keep happening. And that's the space that this situation continually goes back to. You're very familiar with this. And I think you've woken up, or you understand it enough where you can actually trust yourself. You don't have to be so overly prepared about things, because I think you have enough. You have enough at this point to help you, to support you, to sustain you, whatever that looks like. And that's where you need to be confident. Not that you have to lose an edge of vigilance, because I think that's important in this dynamic for someone to be operating, something to be operating out of like, woe is me, my life is so hard. And then because you won't comply, there's the devil that pops up. Like, that's not good. You know, that obviously speaks to a lot of toxicity and bad behavior. And in your energy, 4 of Cups, it's like, well, why are you doing this then? Like, if you wanted it to be this way, then why do you continually revert back to this type of behavior? And that's what you're essentially overcoming, right? And you are doing it. I actually love this. I can't wait to hear what happens for you, Libra, because it looks like, I think this is helping solve some of the inner conflict resolution. I think this is also about recognizing that like you don't have to force anything right now. If anything, like just give yourself a little extra space. I think it's going to help you all across the board. And, you know, just like mentally, emotionally, physically is what I'm hearing. All right, let's close it out, Libra. I like the energy. It feels good. Try not to be too much. Give yourself a little love, a little grace. With Virgo energy, this is all about keeping balance. And I like it. In this deck, it symbolizes I analyze. So yes, you do need your mental capacities, obviously, to kind of differentiate or see through some of this bullshit with the, excuse my language, with the devil. You don't want to gaslight yourself or trick yourself, because this, again, this is an energy of patterns, of repeated cycles. And again, letting that cycle make you think a certain way about yourself, how you think, how you feel. And Virgo energy is, what I love, Virgo energy is reminding you to balance, like keep yourself, which you need. You are the sign of balance, but you need to stay balanced. Like that's your practice. You can't be too far one way or the other, or else it is very overwhelming and discombobulating, right? Exactly what I was talking about in the very beginning. And I think here's the thing, like I think, like I said, you can let go of some, so you can let go of some of the need, like you have to stay on top of everything. And Virgo reminds us to heal, to take time, to nurture, to support. It is the house of health and well-being. Waning gibbous, like something is passing away, right? We see this with the 9 of Wands. You're coming to the end of a cycle. It's a cycle you're ready to be done and over with. I think honestly, you've already hit your climax, so to speak. Like you've already hit the point of intensity and frustration, and like it, I don't want to say it's smooth sailing, but maybe if you let it be a little bit smoother, then it can feel like not so rough and rigid. All right. Yep. Change. Death of a star. I love this. I love this because, you know, it really does remind me of the life cycle of a star and that value of how they essentially burn out, right? They can also explode and be reintegrated back into the universe. We're essentially made of stardust. I love that. But this value of like kind of bringing resolution to something, I think something is having resolution. It is having a lot of closure. Maybe it's even happening this week. Again, maybe that's part of the conversations that are taking place. And it's hard not to get in your head about things. And I'm talking more in that way of like fixating. Don't fixate. process, take some time, but set the timer and then be on to the next thing, right? Keeping your mental, emotional balance, because you do already have a handle on this and you do know that. And what it ends up bringing you is a lot of strength and power and feeling like really good about what you're doing. And I feel like that's exactly where this service component is really going to serve you well, because I feel like it is going hand in hand with part of your destiny. So I love this for you, Libra. Well done. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope you found messages that resonated for you here. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I'd love to hear, or just say, hey, share in a little love, a little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support to the channel. Know anything you contribute, like, share, subscribe, all those things help. So thank you so much. Have a fabulous week. I will see you, well, next time.